Accelerated economic decline. Economic crisis. United States faces challenges in 2025. The economy of several American states is collapsing. California, a giant in the technology sector, sees its startups close their doors at an alarming rate. The high unemployment rate is destabilizing the local economy, with a devastating impact on small and medium-sized businesses. New York, the global financial center, faces a significant increase in unemployment. Wall Street feels the effects, with financial services companies announcing massive job cuts. Cities face declines in tax collection, compromising essential services. Illinois is on the brink of a financial precipice. The state struggles to balance its budget deficits, resulting in drastic cuts in public services. The lack of investment in infrastructure and education further aggravates the situation. Residents see an uncertain future, with fewer job opportunities and quality of life. The economic crisis of 2025 paints a bleak picture for these once prosperous states, leaving residents desperate for viable solutions. Impact of climate change. Natural disasters threaten several states in 2025. Florida is under constant threat from devastating hurricanes. Climate change has intensified the frequency and severity of these events, destroying coastal communities and causing billions in damage. The local government struggles to maintain infrastructure and protect residents, but the unforgiving nature challenges these efforts. Texas is no better off, facing constant flooding that submerges entire cities. Torrential rains destroy homes, displace families, and disrupt crucial economic activities, making recovery a never-ending challenge. California is on fire. Large-scale wildfires have become an annual threat, destroying millions of acres of land and leaving a trail of destruction. Prolonged drought and high temperatures are fuels for these catastrophes. Entire communities are evacuated, and the loss of property is incalculable. The fight against these fires exhausts the state's resources and puts the lives of firefighters at risk. Climate change is redrawing the map of safety and livability in the United States. Budget deficits. Cuts to public services threaten U.S. states. Illinois faces an unprecedented financial chasm. With ever-increasing budget deficits, the state is forced to cut essential spending. Education is one of the most affected sectors, with public schools facing drastic reductions in funding. Teachers are fired, educational programs are canceled, and classrooms are overcrowded. Parents and students see their educational future at risk, while the government struggles to find solutions. Michigan is in the same boat, with its public health system collapsing. Budget cuts have led to the reduction of essential medical services, leaving many residents without access to basic care. Hospitals face shortages of resources and staff, increasing waiting times and reducing the quality of care. The public health crisis is a ticking time bomb, with potentially disastrous consequences for the population. The scenario is bleak, and the solutions seem distant. Social inequality and crime. Rising crime follows economic crisis. New York is turning into a cauldron of social tension. Growing economic inequality fuels rising crime, with robberies and assaults becoming commonplace. The feeling of insecurity spreads, affecting both residents and tourists. The local police face a monumental challenge, trying to stem the crime wave while dealing with limited resources. The streets of New York, once vibrant and full of life, now reflect a scenario of fear and mistrust. California, famous for its innovation and prosperity, is not immune. Protests against social inequality and lack of opportunities are becoming frequent and violent. Tension between different socioeconomic groups reaches alarming levels. Cities see an increase in clashes between protesters and security forces, with devastating consequences for social peace. The climate of uncertainty is forcing many families to reconsider their future in the state. Bankruptcies and unemployment. Companies close their doors. Unemployment soars in the U.S. Ohio is experiencing an industrial crisis. Large industries are closing their doors, leaving thousands of workers without jobs. Industrial cities, which once thrived, now face an uncertain future. Factory closures and a lack of new employment opportunities are leading to an exodus of skilled workers. The economic impact is devastating, affecting not only workers but also local small businesses that depend on the income of these employees. Pennsylvania is in an equally precarious situation. The state is facing record unemployment rates, with key sectors of the economy collapsing. The lack of jobs is forcing many families to leave their homes in search of better opportunities in other states. The crisis is overwhelming social services, which are already operating at the limit of their capacities. The lack of prospects for improvement is generating a feeling of hopelessness among residents, further aggravating the economic situation. Housing crisis. Real estate market in free fall in 2025. Nevada is facing a real estate collapse. Foreclosures are on the rise, leaving many families homeless. The value of properties plummets, causing significant losses for homeowners. The lack of confidence in the real estate market is driving away investors, further aggravating the crisis. Once thriving cities are turning into zones of abandoned houses and decaying neighborhoods. Arizona is also feeling the effects of the housing collapse. Home prices are falling rapidly, leaving homeowners with mortgages higher than the market value of their properties. The market is saturated with properties for sale, but no buyers. The construction of new homes has stagnated, affecting the construction industry and associated jobs. The housing crisis is transforming the state's economic landscape, with long-term consequences for its residents. Population migration. Population exodus threatens states in crisis. California is facing an unprecedented exodus. Thousands of residents are leaving the state in search of better opportunities elsewhere. High unemployment rates, the exorbitant cost of living, and rising crime are forcing people to reconsider their life choices. The impact is visible in cities, with entire neighborhoods emptying and local businesses closing their doors. The outflow of residents is creating a cycle of economic and social decline. New York is not far behind. The economic crisis and growing insecurity are leading many families to leave the state. Urban areas, in particular, see a mass migration to states with better quality of life and employment opportunities. This migration is emptying neighborhoods and overwhelming public services in the destination regions. The population exodus is creating a monumental challenge for local governments as they struggle to maintain economic and social stability. Infrastructure issues. Degraded infrastructure increases risks in 2025. Michigan faces an infrastructure crisis. Roads and bridges are in deplorable condition, causing frequent accidents and inconvenience for drivers. The lack of proper maintenance and investments is making travel dangerous and time-consuming. Residents are increasingly frustrated with the government's lack of action to address these critical issues. Deteriorating infrastructure is affecting the local economy, making it difficult to transport goods and services. Pennsylvania is struggling with failing water and sewer systems. Aging infrastructure is failing to keep up with growing demand, resulting in leaks, contamination, and frequent disruptions to water supplies. These failures are putting public health at risk and increasing costs for residents. The infrastructure crisis is becoming an urgent concern, with the need for massive investment to avoid a total collapse of basic services. Public health in crisis. Health systems under pressure in the USA. Louisiana is facing an unprecedented public health crisis. Budget cuts have led to the reduction of essential medical services, leaving many residents without access to basic care. Hospitals are overburdened and underfunded, resulting in long wait times and reduced quality of care. The situation is worsening with the lack of health professionals, increasing the workload and stress for those who remain in the sector. Alabama is seeing an alarming increase in death rates. Lack of access to medical care and reduced public health programs are resulting in untreated diseases and preventable deaths. The most vulnerable communities are being hit the hardest, with widening health disparities. The crisis is overwhelming emergency services and creating an environment of hopelessness among residents. Public health is at a critical point, requiring immediate action to avert a greater disaster. Education in decline. Education at risk. Schools face cuts in 2025. Ohio is facing an education crisis. Public schools are suffering from drastic cuts in funding, resulting in teacher layoffs and cancellation of extracurricular programs. Classrooms are overcrowded and resources are scarce. Students are seeing a decline in the quality of education, with less support and learning opportunities. Parents and teachers are worried about children's futures as the education system struggles to stay afloat. Illinois is dealing with a surge in truancy rates. Lack of funding is leading to school closures and reduced student support programs. The most vulnerable students are the most affected, with fewer resources to help them stay in school. The education crisis is creating a cycle of poverty and lack of opportunity, with long-term consequences for the economy and society. Education, a key pillar for development, is at risk, requiring urgent and effective solutions.